So this video is just an attempt at a build video, but even then, it's more to just try out a different editing style, more of an informative type. That said, I do still hope it's a useful build to anyone who prefers or wants a taste of an aspect of Chargeblade in Base World, which was SAED or Super Amped Element Discharge spamming. Essentially what this is ignoring Savage Axe entirely except for guard points or saving files, and just focusing on file damage. There are several things to note with this playstyle though. It is probably the most commitment when comparing it and Savage Axe. If you whiff your files, you lose about an average of 1000 damage or even more depending on where the initial hit lands. So it's very important to position yourself correctly, such as hitting files down the length of the monster or from wing to wing on dragons or wyverns. This build also has some pretty big downsides I'll get into later, but for now here's the skills and armor pieces we run. Unsurprisingly, 4-piece Brachy shits all over Zora for the purposes of this build. Free Artillery 5 and Agitator 7 already give a massive amount of file damage. We don't build for crit whatsoever since the majority of damage will be from SAEDs and not from normal hits. But we can get free weakness exploit anyways, so yeah, totally not a broken set. We can afford to fit a lot of skills in this build, namely Guard 5 using the Charm and Coalescence along with Guard Up. This is to ensure that you can always effectively counter monster attacks with guard points to instantly SAED afterwards. If you have a full shield charge and guard point, you can basically SAED out of almost any attack, even nukes. We run focus because we need to get files to max ASAP, as that's most of your damage. Not much else to say here. We run offensive guard because again, countering with guard 5 and proccing offensive guard gives a 15% damage boost for 12 seconds. Capacity boost is a no-brainer. One more file, extra 150 damage. We can afford to fit Coalescence for solo play, or you can just slot Brace, or really anything else you want since the majority of other slots are just filling attack boost. If you want health boost 3, you can swap out one attack boost for Vitality Jewel, it doesn't lose much damage, or you can put that one slot jewel into a 3 socket. Personally, I wouldn't do that, but it's an option. For the weapon, we augment for attack and health regen, and we use the Safi Shatter Shield because we can fit attack awakenings, and that's all you awaken for. So for the pros and cons of the build, it's very satisfying to hit a full SAED. The amount of damage output this has is frankly ridiculous, and can on certain matchups outperform Elemental. This doesn't require much knowledge of the weapon to pick up either. Really, you just need to know that guard points exist, and you can counter off of them into SAEDs. Also, guard 5. Need I say more? For cons, sharpness goes down very quickly. What I do to mitigate this is charge the sword every now and then during file reloads. It gives you natural mind's eye until you can find time to sharpen. With the new fish event quest, you can farm Wetfish Fin Plus, which can shorten the time you need to sharpen even further. Very high animation commitment as well. You put all of your damage into a single hit that, if it whiffs, you're punished not only by losing damage, but also by having to pick up the weapon again, which has a relatively lengthy animation. You also use all of your files at once, so you have to charge them back up from scratch. Ways to mitigate this are, if you feel like you're gonna miss your SAED, you can cancel it into an AED, or Amped Elemental Discharge, by tilting the stick back and pressing Y. That will only use one of your files. Or you can morph into Savage Axe if you think you can get another SAED really soon after, but don't stay in that mode for too long because it drains your files really quickly. That's about it really. This build averages about 140 damage per file but can reach upwards of 180 to 190 on certain monsters such as Velkhana or Gold Rathian. I hope you found this helpful and maybe give it a try if you just want to unga bunga some monsters.